Hello everybody, this is Anaris here with SK Gaming, bringing you more coverage of the Intel Extreme Masters European Championship. This took place on December 2nd, just a couple days ago, and there are a lot of top-level European Starcraft 2 players here on this series. Like I said, this is a best-of-3 series featuring BratOK, who is spawning as the Yellow Terran, and his opponent WhiteRa, who is spawning as the Red Protoss. This is game number 2 of the series. First game took place on Jungle Basin. It was actually a pretty interesting game. Again, Protoss versus Terran the whole way through this series, and there was a really nice back and forth action with the Banshee harassment from WhiteRa's opponent, but ultimately the Terran player was not able to keep up with WhiteRa's forces. His Banshee harassment just couldn't quite knock out enough of WhiteRa's economy to stop him from building up a force big enough to push through the Terran defenses in the middle of the map. So here we are in game number 2. Depot did just go down to the top of the ramp for BratOK, and we can expect to see a barracks here in the very near future. There it goes right there, and his opponent just threw down a gateway. So pretty standard play so far for both of the players, as we can expect to see probably somewhat similar builds here. Both of these players are actually very close on this map. This is the shortest distance between the two bases by land. So probably see a little bit of early harassment, maybe, I don't know, definitely going to see some probage going on here. May decide to go for the probe building the barracks, and nope, looks like he's just going to go one-on-one with the SCV, maybe trying to build something else. We'll just have to see, though. And meanwhile, down here in the Protoss base, Assimilator has just gone down, going to cap out very soon. You can expect to see some probes going over to that. There goes 3 right there. And second pylon is just about done. Gateway is finished. Probably see a cybernetics cord here in the next couple minutes or so, as a probe does head out indeed to throw down a building, maybe. Yep, there it goes right there. So at this point, we're either going to see the Protoss player switch off and throw down a couple more gateways, or he may throw down another gateway in a robotics facility. Not too sure. Since we're getting the second assimilator, though, relatively early, I'm thinking we're going to see a little bit of a tech play. Probably robotics facility, 2 gate, maybe 3, but we'll have to see, though. Meanwhile, his opponent, he's actually doing a little bit of a wall off kind of earlier compared to the last game. He doesn't have a bunker down. Instead, it looks like he's throwing down 2 supply depots at the top of the ramp, maybe even a third right here. We'll have to see, though, as he does send out some Marines to scout out his opponent. He's sending this one up top to make sure there's no proxy pylon hanging out right up here, just to make sure there's not going to be any sort of gateway proxy play in the next couple minutes from his opponent. Now both of these assimilators are saturated. We can look at the income and we can see right now 17 to 22. So that chrono boost obviously is paid off for WhiteRa. Is sitting pretty darn good. Is able to get both of his guys are saturated, and it's showing right there around 120, 112 to 240 for the gas income. Other than that, BratOK is of course sitting a little bit better for the minerals, thanks to the Mule, who is bringing in minerals at a steady rate there. And we got a factory and a starport going down. Now Hellion is on the way. May have a Hellion drop here in the next couple minutes. I do not know. We'll have to see, though. That's not really going to be the long-term plan here, but certainly Hellions are very effective at delaying economy and just kind of generally keeping the Protoss on his toes. We'll have to see, though, because there is a good number of probes here at this point, so the Protoss obviously stands to lose a lot here should he fall prey to that. But his forces aren't really too big right now. We're about 5 minutes into the game. He's got one of every available gateway unit this early in the match, and he's throwing down a third gate right here, second one right there. And robotics facility is bringing out an observer. Very standard for Protoss players to get that out first, as it's very critical to make sure you have that observation ability there. And looks like we are having 2 Hellions come to the field. Third one is on the way with the dropship. We are indeed going to be seeing a drop here in the near future. Now, note that the Protoss player has claimed the Xel'Naga Watchtower right here. Terran has claimed this one right here. There is a Stalker heading over to the Xel'Naga Watchtower, probably to take it over, and nope, looks like he's actually just going to dance the dog instead. Alright, well, good stuff there. Nope, there he goes, taking out the SCV. Alright, but look at this right here. He's actually moving outside of the range of the Xel'Naga Watchtower. That's a very smart move. So many times players just send their drop right through the middle of the map right here, not even realizing that 2 towers here can be claimed by your opponent. And he probably knows it's very likely that that his opponent will have claimed that Xel'Naga Watchtower, simply because he doesn't have anything in there, and it's just best to assume that, you know, if he's not there, then chances are his opponent is. I have a Raven on the way, so he should be able to detect the observer hanging out up here in the top of the base. Also, the point defense drone will help a lot against gateway forces, particularly the Stalker. If WhiteRa decides to go with a heavy Stalker build, the point defense drone will be priceless in shutting down the gateway army. We'll have to see what he does, though, as right now, like I said, I'm not convinced that he's going to go with a very Stalker-heavy build. He's probably going to have to throw a lot of his gas into the Colossus, and probably save the rest of the minerals for Zealots, and looks like an expansion here, with a ton of probes being sent out, because the attack has come right there as the medevac actually picks up the Hellions right as soon as they get a couple attacks on the probe line there. Really didn't do a whole lot. He may try to come in here, but oh no, he's gonna probably die. Oh, 24 hit points, so close. That was, oh, it looks like a little piece of it fell off the edge there. Good stuff. All right, well, that tech didn't work so well for the Terran player. Of course, WhiteRa was able to bring out his probes in plenty of time, able to get them away so that way the Hellions could not blow them up with their AoE fire damage. Looking up here at the Terran base, looks like we got a couple siege tanks, pretty good position there, as the Terran player is actually scouting around at this point, just trying to find any observers that may be hanging out in his base. Note the position of the supply depot there, making sure that no proxy pylons or anything crazy is dropped in the back of the base that he would not be aware of, rather. As now we are seeing a proxy pylon throw down at the top of the ramp. This is what the Terran player was scouting out for earlier, and now the Protoss is trying to take advantage of this positioning. Pretty good stuff there, very easy to reinforce. Now the Colossus, of course, can walk up and down cliffs, so we're not really too worried about the proxy positioning on that, as he can just crawl his way over here pretty much anywhere on the map that he wants to. Now note that this is actually pretty interesting. WhiteRa was trying to move his forces away from the vision of the SCV, so that way the Terran player would not know that an attack is imminent. Now look over here, the barracks in the, excuse me, I had a brain fart for a second. Barracks in the starport are switching to reactor and a tech lab. This is the Terran response to the Colossi. He wants to try to get some Vikings here in the near future in order to counter the Colossi, which are now fielding on the bay, or on the map here. We have a second Colossus here hanging out, and another probe rather might decide to build another building or two up here, although I don't really think anything else would really be necessary at this point. Now notice that the siege tanks are in a pretty good position here. They're able to hit pretty much anything that comes across right here, so pretty much anything that comes down the ramp and starts attacking the command center right here. But look at this, the Protoss player does know the command center is landing. He may decide to make a play here, as the let's see, where's that? There's the second Colossus right there. So he is bringing in his reinforcements as we speak, and notice how he has moved away, kind of away from the siege tanks there. And there's the point defense drone completely shutting down these stalkers right here. Look at that, shooting in on all of the shots, allowing the Terran player to push out with his Vikings and try to get a couple extra shots on the Colossus. Was not effective in taking it down, though. It is currently sitting at about a quarter of its total hit points and shields as the command center once again lands. But look at this, Protoss attacking, catching the Terran completely out of position, coming in just before the siege tanks were ready to fire upon them as they came in from the long range. Now they're plenty close coming in here. There go all of the siege tanks, and the point defense drone is now out of energy, so it is completely useless. All the Colossi have been destroyed, so the Vikings are landing, but still, it's just not enough damage here from the Terran player. I can already tell this is not going to work so well for BratOK, as WhiteRa pushes in here with his Stalkers. Without the help of that point defense drone, these units are helpless, as here comes an additional reinforcements with Zealous and a Sentry. Very, very good idea to bring in that Sentry, because the shield is absolutely critical to lowering the damage there. And there is the GG from BratOK, bringing this series up 1-1 actually. So let's go on to game number 3, and we will see what happens next.